Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here with another Sims 4 speed build, and we are coming back to work on our Magnolia Promenade rebuild, or yeah, we'll call it that. A collection of 4 builds that we are working on. So we have already done the corner shops. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. That you can see it in a few places in this sort of build as we do this. It's in the background, but today we are working on a coffee shop. I thought it'd be quite a nice sort of build, a little bit different into here. I was kind of having a look through like different builds that we could do in here. I kind of want them all to be commercial, so shops, coffee shops, sort of restaurants, those sorts of things. So if anyone has any ideas or suggestions, do let me know in the comments down below. Always interested to know what kind of builds you're after. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to see in this collection into there? But I was, as I normally do, scrolling through the masses of Pinterest boards, and I came across this sort of clock tower. I think it was in maybe France, possibly Spain, in there. Lots of sort of brick and sort of plaster and things like that, and I thought it was a really cool little shape. So it had already been converted into a cafe shop, maybe a restaurant, into there, but it had that sort of clock sort of tower on the top, and that's what I really wanted to get into here. So you can sort of see it's a bit of an odd shape. It's not the same all the way around, and there's different little pop outs and stuff into here as well, and it's quite tall. I only went, I think I did 3 stories, and then obviously the flat roof on the top, but this one is like maybe 5-6 stories high in real life. But obviously I didn't want to do it in The Sims because it just looked too big into there. So we kind of have a mix of different height ceilings as well. So the ground floor is a medium wall height, the middle floor is a small, and then the top piece, which is kind of empty on the inside, it just has the clock on it, is actually a tall wall height. And then obviously the half wall, which I do believe I actually changed because I think I put it up too high, so I think I lower that down as well. And I was building from these sort of reference images, as I sort of normally do, because I think having an image, I'm very much a builder who I can take an image and sort of translate it into The Sims, into Planet Zoo, and all of those kind of things, and that's kind of what I was trying to do into here. So this is where we try to get the sort of clock tower in element. I wanted to do this sort of first of all because it just didn't really seem to fit without it. So that's what we try and do, and then just change that into the clock, into the black variant, and that's all the way around. So you saw the 4 big sort of white boxes on the sides. They each have a different clock on them, and they all show the same time. Although since I've been playtesting, I don't actually think those clocks change time at all. They always sort of seem to be at the same time, so I don't know whether they don't work in game, or maybe it's just like a decorative piece. I would have kind of preferred it had they changed time, but I don't know whether that's something in game that's just not in game, or whether that's because I scaled them up. I don't really know, but I did scale them up using the tool mod. I could not build without tool, I've got to be fair, into here, but you can yeah, this build is slowly coming together in here, so lots of details to get in as per sort of usual into here. But yeah, most of this is going to be sort of outside seating, and then there's a few tables inside as well. But we've seen all of that in here, so I'm just getting some street decorations up. I did go for a black and white and red colour theme for this. I don't necessarily know if that's what it was. There was elements of sort of black and white in all of the pictures, like the awnings and the tables, but I just added that sort of third red colour in because I thought it would be a little bit different and kind of make it fit a little bit more and just give it that pop of colour that I think works really well into here. So we kind of had that little strip coming all the way down the side. I didn't really know what to do with, so I just thought I'd pop the little electricity boxes out there and things like that. Now there is a few things in this build that I will show you one part of maybe, and then not the rest. So there is bits that you'll see that it's done on all four sides. Maybe it's done in more than one place, but I've had to cut lots out. I can't do quick builds. It seems to be that I seem to go for builds that are maybe 4, 5, possibly even 6 hours to actually build. So I need to cut down on that into here and actually work not necessarily faster, but just trying to save a little bit of time here and there, and maybe not be so distracted when it comes to recording into here, because there are bits of this where I just had maybe a podcast going, or I was maybe watching a TV program at the same time and was super distracted by the whole thing. But yes, that may have taken a little bit more of the recording time than I actually wanted, but anyway, we got this build done into here, and yes, the outside area is slowly coming together. It's looking pretty good. Lots of this is like the debug live edit sort of world objects, so they don't really function in game. Like your Sims can just walk straight through them, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully the way I've placed some of them, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So here we're working on the outdoor seating. Now these sort of black and white ones, tables here, we actually keep, they are debug, the live edit ones, and your Sims can't actually sit on them. So what I did do is get the same table in here without the parasol, and I kind of doubled them up, so you can sort of see that the legs sometimes don't quite match, and I've had to just rearrange them. But that's basically, you now have two tables kind of on top of each other. They don't zip at all, which is obviously good, and your Sims can sit at those tables and you still have the parasol, which is always a good one into here. I did play test all of this, so this should all, well, it does all work, or at least for me in playtesting. I know sometimes when I playtest something and then somebody else comes along and lives in it or uses it and it doesn't quite work, I don't quite understand why it can work for some and not for others. I really don't know. But lots of sort of plants coming in here on that sort of top level into there, and then getting the big name sort of the cafe in there as well. And we're grabbing some lights in here just to make this look a little better. The nighttime shot of this is actually really nice. I'm not sure if I included it in the screenshots. If not, I will probably take another one and pop it up on Twitter, so make sure to check that one out as well. I took so many screenshots of this build that I had too many, and then I think I've limited myself to a certain number of screenshots nowadays, because I was just getting too big and I wanted so many in there. But lots of sort of lighting coming around, and we actually used a lot more of these later on as well into here. Obviously we haven't done any windows or detailing on the second and third floor. We'll get to that later on, although the third floor is pretty empty. As I say, there is just the clocks in there. There's no other sort of detail, no windows, no nothing on there. But yeah, we're using the new windows from Growing Together. I thought these windows looked really nice in that sort of classical kind of style, fitting in with the nice white sort of windows with like the I'm not sure if it's designed to be like plaster or something underneath, but I thought it kind of fitted in here quite well. So just sort of doubling these up next to each other so that you kind of have these big sort of picture windows into there, and then just one on that side as well. We do actually change the layout upstairs as well, because it wasn't quite what I was looking for, and I couldn't get the plan because it's such a small build actually. Although this is a 20 by 20 lot, the actual kind of building of this is quite small into here, and obviously we need to get the stairs in and all of the sort of big cafe sort of sections. So you've got that big barista kind of desk area, which was always going to be a fun one to try and get in because it is rather large into there. And this is one of the things that I said about it goes all the way around, but I just show you a little section here. So just try and do these to try and get a nice little corner piece to try and get into here. Into there. It was a little bit more challenging into there, but it is on all of the corners, so you have all of that in here. And then just making sure these sort of tables all look nicely decorated and realistic, I think. So you have a little candle on each table, you have a small little tabletop menu and a couple of coffee mugs and also some salt and pepper and a couple of magazines. And I kind of just sort of place them all around to kind of give it that sort of lived in, kind of used feel, which I thought was always a good one to get into here. So some of them have a little bit more on than others. It all depends on what we sort of want on these tables into here. And yeah, I feel like this is actually a really nice sort of place, kind of making Magnolia Promenade a bit of a destination kind of thing. I know you obviously got the loading screens, but you can do some shopping, you can grab a bite to eat, maybe a pastry or something into here, and things like that, just trying to make it look a little bit more realistic. We will be adding some other builds in to this world. I think we now have the 2 biggest lots to do. I've done the 2 20 by 20s. I think the next one is going to be a 20 by 30, and then I think we have a 30 by 40 as well in here. So they're coming up, but I have no plans, no ideas of what we can actually get in for those. So that's all going to be in the future. I do at some point, I'm planning on going away for possibly a week, although it might only be a short mini break, so that might impact the amount of sort of recording time I have, but we'll have to deal with that when we are closer to the time. It may well be that a case that you have a spare, maybe an apartment build or something, just to kind of fill the gap in a little bit into there, but obviously I will let you know more of that when I know exactly when that's going to happen. Into here. So this is where I decided to sort of change it up a little bit. So we've got these big cabinets kind of coming in here in sort of a very commercial kind of but cafe-like kitchen. So getting lots of this in and bringing it in the sort of black and white and red theme. So on some of the exterior walls we do have these sort of exposed bricks, which I thought was a really nice little touch into here. For some reason I couldn't pick up that coffee shaker. I don't know why, it just was not moving for me, so I kind of just had to leave it where it is into here. But just trying to get a few pieces in here and a little amounts of clutter. I think I didn't want too much in here, but enough that it kind of makes it look a little bit more used and things like that, rather than being a pristine sort of cafe in here. So finding out that I have absolutely everything I need barring the toilets, which we'll get upstairs, but also thinking that you really need a cash register for a build like this. Like, how do you take your money? I didn't really make much sense, but obviously the cash registers came with a different pack, and obviously they didn't want to add another one in to here, but we did in the end get that in over there as well, so it looks like it could all work. Obviously that now means that this works as a retail lot as well, but I set out purposely to make this just a cafe. I didn't want it to be anything else. So we'll do maybe a restaurant in another build, but for this I just wanted it to be a cafe into here. So that's what we did into here, getting some more decorations and bits and pieces in as well, just to kind of make it useful into here. So lots of teapots in there, maybe different blends of coffees, different types of coffee from different countries and things like that. Maybe could even be tea, who knows. Personally, I can't stand coffee. I'm a tea drinker, I have to be fair. Coffee smells way too bad for me, so I have to have tea into here. But the name fit, especially because obviously it's in a clock tower, and I thought coffee time fitted better into there. Right, and I wanted some different sort of shelving on here, but we've kind of got this one where it's kind of attached to the wall in here, just to kind of change it up a little bit into there. And maybe you sort of sell those mugs, maybe they're like branded mugs that you can sort of sell, maybe even with the cash register into there as well in here. And then we do get out a few pieces from the new Book Nook kit. So these pieces of artwork I absolutely love, because they're just so sort of generic, like they could be anything, and I thought that would be a perfect place for them in here. And then realising that this shelving unit, actually the shelves don't touch the wall, so I had to rotate them all around. But what do we all think about the new expansion pack that has just been released into here? Well, it's not been released, but the trailers come out for it, and we have our date for it. I'm gonna be controversial here and say I'm not that excited about it. I'm just not feeling the whole pack. I don't know, horses have never, I used to have a horse when I was a kid. I used to have a little pony, but I was never sort of, I guess I grew out of it pretty quickly and was never sort of interested in the horses in The Sims 3, and I don't see how they're going to really work in The Sims 4 either. But also the horses look kind of weird. From what we saw in the trailer, the horses just they're flat. And so maybe it's because I've been spoiled with the graphics of the animal design for Planet Zoo, where they put so much sort of time and attention to them, all of the animals, but the horses just didn't feel right to me. There's no fur pattern, there's no texture to their coat, it's just a one wash sort of thing, which was a little bit disappointing. But obviously the Sims team don't necessarily focus on that sort of thing. I feel like Planet Zoo is all about the animals. It's a zoo game, you need the animals to kind of make sense, whereas I think in The Sims that wasn't really the brief, so I think they are a little bit different. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll build in the world, we'll use the pieces, sort of the build buy that comes with it, and we'll check all of that out. But I'm not really feeling it. I'm sorry to say. But what do you think? Do let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, what should we build with it? Into here, any ideas, any suggestions? So I'm actually using the sort of the tray with the cup and the book as maybe an actual tray, so you can kind of go up to the counter and get your cup of tea. Maybe there's a bookshelf over there as well. We do have this little stand of books just by here as well, so maybe whilst you're in there you can catch up on the latest sort of bestseller or something and have a bit of a read while you have your tea, or maybe you can purchase it as well in there. And I felt like that was just a nice little sort of detail that we have going on in here. And now we are coming up to the upstairs. Now we have quite a lot of space for the bathrooms, which normally is great. However, I tried to use the commercial, like the high school bathrooms, like the little stalls for them, and they are so large. Like, it's, yeah, it didn't make much sense why they had to be so big. So these big bathrooms ended up having 2 toilet stalls in them, and really that's it. So I managed to sneak in one little sink down the side here, and then we kind of create a bit of a mirrored shelf kind of area. I wanted to do something a little bit different with it, so I did think about putting like a hand soap here, and then thought, no, this is a commercial lot we have used Get to Work, so we kind of can use the sort of wall mounted soap and hand towels and things like that, which make a little bit more sense in a commercial setting like this. So here's the hand soap, and then we get the towels over here where we get the mirror and the sort of shelving in. So this is the ladies' toilets. So every time I sort of go to the toilet in a cafe or in a restaurant, they always kind of have these little areas like separate to like the main part where you can reapply your lipstick, kind of fluff your hair, kind of do all of that. So I thought this would be a nice little area to do that into here, and where we get out a few sort of bits and pieces to kind of make this work in here and look a little bit better. Alright, so just grabbing out a couple of plants, a couple of details into here. I didn't do this in the men's bathroom, it's just the ladies in here that I thought needed it. The men's, although it's the same kind of sort of shape, it just feels a little bit smaller for some reason. I don't know why. Their ones just didn't seem to have enough space to do this, so I just kind of left it in here. And also, by using the shelving units here instead of like counters and stuff, it saved on space, which is really good when you have sort of these little tight sort of bathrooms. Had I done it without using the bathroom stalls and actually like created my own, they could have obviously been a bit better, but I had decided to use a lot of the high school packs, so I felt like we could kind of get them in, and yeah, I regretted that decision, I have to be fair. So grabbing some bits and pieces down from downstairs and moving it up here, just to have a little few more seating. I don't actually know like what capacity we have in here. I know we have seating for like 4s, 3s and 2s. So maybe they've like borrowed a chair from somewhere else or something like that, in a few places as well, just to kind of make it a little bit useful for sort of different groups of your Sims. So if you've maybe just got a couple, they can sit on a 2, and so sorts of things just in there. Give you the option of how you want to sort of use all of that. And then a few bits of artwork on here that we get in just into there, and changing some colours and some swatches. Unfortunately, the other ones have to be in a black swatch. They don't come in, there's like 4 different pictures I think it is, but they only come in a black frame, so they kind of was very limited on what we can use in here. And then this is going to be in the last little sort of staff area, just a kind of a place where they can come in and put their bags down and sort of things like that. So again, using the high school lockers that I thought were going to be quite a good sort of a thing in here, just so somewhere you can keep yourself safe, but they've sort of overfilled them and it's sort of sprawling out into here into kind of a messy little area on this side as well. I thought that could always work into here, but we are very quickly running out of time for this video. So if you have liked it, then please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You all mean so very much to me, as we are inching our way sort of up in the subscribers, so you all mean so very very much. And let me know down below what you think of this build, what kind of build you want to see next. In here as well, see, I said earlier that we had the 2 bigger lots left, so lots of different ideas, suggestions of what we can get into here as well. And yeah, and obviously you can, as I say, subscribe to me here on YouTube. You can also find me over on Twitch, where I stream 3 times a week over at MissKinghornBuilds, the same as here. Or you find me over on Twitter, where I'm at MissKinghorn, and also on my Discord server, which is the MKB Build Center. You don't need to be a builder to join. Anybody and everybody is welcome. All of the links to that are down in the description. But for now, enjoy the screenshots. I'll see you all very soon. Alright, bye everyone.